Hi, this is Brock Meyer. I want to encourage you with this word today, that we as leaders would lead with a sense of compassion for those around us. One of the things that I find just so fascinating about having a heart of compassion is it seems like the leader is leading in maybe a softer approach, but it's one of the most powerful approaches, is to take on the ache and the pain and the burden of others to really understand what that person is going through. The story goes like this, that there's this little boy who's in class, and he's in third grade, and he's sitting there looking down at his lap in his desk, and his pants are wet. And he's like, no, how could this possibly happen? I'm going to be dead meat. There's no way. This is embarrassing. And whenever I stand up, all of my buddies are going to see that I've just wet my pants. Like, no! This is the biggest nightmare of any 9-year-old on the planet. And walking toward him is little Susie. And as Susie is walking toward him, so also is his teacher. And his teacher sees what has happened, is a little bit frustrated, and is about to maybe expose what has happened. Right before the teacher gets there, though, Susie trips and drops this bowl, and she was carrying a goldfish. And she drops the water and spills all over his lap, and he's soaking wet. And all the class starts pivoting. What could have been the ridicule of little boy now is on Susie. And Susie, you're such a klutz. How could you? What are you thinking, you idiot? And totally dumped this water all over. And so now, little Junior, instead of being the object of everyone's making fun of, now he's the object of everyone's compassion. And the teacher helps him to the locker room that he can change into some gym shorts. All of his buddies are coming around. Oh, I'm so sorry. And here's Susie left, kind of carrying the pain of everybody else. After school, Junior goes up to Susie and he says, you did that on purpose, didn't you? And Susie responds with, it's okay. I've wet my pants before too. The idea of that, of saying, I want to be in it with you, I want to join that place of pain with you, is one of the biggest things of compassion. Paul Bloom says it this way. He says, empathy is putting yourself in someone else's shoes, truly feeling their pain. It's not enough just to say, oh, I'm sorry, I feel sorry for you. Or, man, that's such a bummer, bummer. But it's actually, I want to take on the mindset. What is it like to walk in their shoes? What is it like to have those injustices done to them? What is it like to have gone through all of that abuse before? What is it like to have the mindset that they're operating with? And to really deploy an insane amount of empathy for the team around you, for family members. It really starts helping gain some perspective on how we need to engage those relationships differently. In Matthew chapter 9, we see Jesus, and he's walking around. It says that he goes from every town and village, and that he's healing all sicknesses and diseases. I don't know about you, but walking from town to town, and then feeling the power of God leaving you and connecting with all these people would be draining and exhausting. And no doubt Jesus is fired up for God, but physically is being depleted. And he's in the synagogue, it says, and he's teaching all the people. And it says as he looks out to all of the people, he said they looked like they were sheep without a shepherd. And he was moved with compassion for them because they're walking through this life without a leader, without a guide by their side to try to help navigate some tough waters and lead them in a direction. This word compassion that the Bible uses means that he's troubled in his spirit, or he's moved in his spirit. His spirit is kind of being broken up for these people. Just wonder for us as leaders, and we all are leaders, whether you're leading yourself, you're leading a family, leading a business, you're leading people in your community, is I want to think as a leader, what are the people around me going through, and do I have compassion for their situations? And to really be moved by that. Last week, one of my friends, Cullen Gibson, your friend as well, he shared this Monday morning margin. And the story goes like this, that Mary is shopping at TJ Maxx. Wonder if it's his wife. And Mary hears this kaboom behind her as an elderly shopper bumps into a shelf. And all of these things fall off the shelf and they're broken. She goes around and tries to help and assist, and the elderly person is just frantically trying to pick up all of these pieces that have been broken. Within a couple minutes, the manager comes and, I'm so sorry, and the elderly shopper is saying, I'm so sorry, and I'll pay for all of this. And the manager says, we have insurance for things like this. Leave the mess here. I'll come back and clean it up later. It's just the mindset of Christ. And how many times has he walked into our lives and he's seen that we've made a mess and we're broken and our marriage is just left in pieces. Our relationships are in shambles. Our life has been crushed. And Jesus enters the scene and he says, it's okay. I've paid the ultimate price. You don't have to pay for this. I've taken it on myself. And if there's ever been a move in all of human history that has deployed the most insane amount of compassion and empathy, it's the God-man, Jesus Christ, whenever he literally came and stepped foot into our shoes and became a man and lived this life. And going to the cross, he took on all of the pain, all of the ache, and all of the brokenness of all mankind. And he says, I've paid for it. We got insurance for this. You just leave it here. I'll clean you up. I'll clean up the mess. What are those relationships around? How can you start thinking with a mindset of compassion and a heart full of empathy to move into their shoes rather than just staying disconnected and judging their lives? I want to encourage you today, engage with compassion.